I'm Victoria Bond, your host, and I'm excited because today we're going to be talking about the predictions for 2024. So let's start with 2023. So, really interesting because the first half of 2023, I really felt that it was a time to be the hermit. It was really the time to come back into self. I felt this at the end of 2022 as well. So, really coming back into ourselves to re navigate, to recalibrate, to realign, to find out who we actually are. So, this whole energy of rebirth has been happening. But first of all, we had to come down deeper into self, into the earth, to center, to sit with the energy of, okay, this has been the journey so far. And where are we going to go? But we needed to be in stillness. And a lot of people that fought that stillness had a lot of chaos. There was a lot of breakdowns for the breakthrough. So, in other words, everyone has been going through this. There's been this opportunity for this mass awakening in the first 6 months of 2023 and at the end of 2022. But a lot of people didn't understand that taking life down a couple of notches to come into stillness, they didn't understand that that was a requirement. So they started pushing through to achieve to get slammed back down again. And we've seen this a lot with illness. We've seen this a lot with people moving, with getting made redundant or like leaving their jobs. Like the chaos has been real. And so for me personally, I felt it. I felt that this was happening. This is what I feel as a psychic medium and as a energy reader, I could feel this was happening in the collective. So what I did is I still served, of course, because it's the fun for me and it's what I love to do, but I became more still within myself. And what I did is I was able to look at my life and do a bit of an audit. So skipping forward now to the second half of 2023, this is about us coming out of the cave now. So for those that actually listened and took heed of this, I want to say what this message that the universe and the earth has been giving us with the Schumann resonances, with all the solar flares, with all of the crazy weather stuff. Those of us that listened and came inward are now ready to branch back out, to come out of the cave, to share our learnings in the stillness that we experience. Now, there's still a few people in the mid 2023 that are like amongst the chaos because they didn't listen at the start of the year when their spirit guides were saying, hey, take a couple of steps down to come in. And what I mean by down is not by making yourself smaller, but going in because the universe is within, God is within. So therefore, to come in and do that life audit, to be radically honest with ourselves was extremely important. So some people are now doing that, okay? It doesn't mean that they're behind, but what it means is they're trying to catch up. So we're seeing big things happen. We're seeing like dis-ease within the body coming forward. We're seeing purging. We're seeing chaos and changes happening now. So it's nearly like the second influx of the awakening for 2023. As we are coming towards the end of 2023, we have a greater sense of who we are. Now, this is interesting because no one really knows who they are, really, because the only thing we truly know is the feeling, the essence of self. But no one actually really knows who they are fully because there's so many different parts of us. There's so many different soul streams that are coming in at any given time. And like I always laugh and say, I am always curious to see who my husband is today and who I am today, because how can we know somebody so well? We can know their patterns, we can know the way that they work, but if we're always evolving and growing, then we don't truly ever know anybody really. We can know their essence, but we have been told and taught to judge people by their behaviors and by what they've shown us, whatever face they've shown us, whatever role they've shown us. But what if we took away all of those roles and all of those faces and just were curious about the person that we were with or the people that we interacted with in whatever way. So as we are growing and evolving, we're starting to shift very, very quickly in this last 6 months of 2023, because 2024, which I'll get to in a moment, is going to be extremely powerful. So this is the time now in the last 6 months of 2023 to really nurture your findings from the first half. Okay. Nurturing, you've found this part of you that was so deep. So there's been a lot of shadow work. And in my containers, so in my membership, Spiritual Magnificence, and all my containers, we have been doing so much deep shadow work and communion work. And what communion work is the sisterhood. It's coming together, it's cleaning up the witch wounds, it's cleaning up ancestral patterns. People have been going through a rebirth. So guides and leaders have been going through this first, so then we can take people through the rebirths. It's not to say that there's any type of hierarchy here, but there is particular teachers that come forward and they go through things and then they show others. In fact, would go as far as saying, this is what the spirit guides are saying now, everybody is a teacher and a guide, and they teach and guide their tribe by going through things first. This is the way humanity works, and this is why we're not all the same. Things happen at different times with awakenings. But there's definitely been this big influx in 2023 at the end of 2022, where we went deeply inward to really come into ourselves and go through a rebirth and awakening. I went through a very profound one in 2023. And then now those who didn't do that, they were just pushing, 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 busy being busy, are going through it mid 2023 to prepare for this next stage of nurturing. So the nurturing is actually the realignment. So we've done the recalibration, and then we're realigning to our soul's purpose and mission. To realign to our soul's purpose and mission, we need to have a clean portal. So a lot of the work that I've been doing is cleaning out the portals. So our multidimensional selves, our soul streams that are all coming through, our past lives, our future lives, all the patterns, all of that stuff that's coming around is clear, so we can see cleaner. So we're seeing a lot more people doing microdosing. We're seeing a lot more people giving up alcohol. We're seeing a lot more people breaking their patterns, going through potentially chaos and pain to break them for good. Potentially lives and lives and lives and lives and lives of the same pattern is being smashed out now. This is called quantum leaping. So if this resonates with you, of course, you have been going through chaos, but not for vain. Okay. Not for no reason. It is all for a huge reason, I promise. So now is the time, once you've been through this rebirth, right? So I've got a program called Reborn, which I took people through literally the 5 steps of rebirthing, which I'm sharing with you here. And now it's a time to nurture that new growth, because we have to start with a clean slate. What do I actually believe that I was not told? What do I actually want to do that I wasn't told that I wanted to do? Do you know what I mean? Like, what actually do I like doing that I wasn't told that I liked or that I was supposed to like? We have started at the beginning, and we're going to nurture those threads, those weaves. And as we nurture them with the sunshine and the water and the love, the space, what we're doing is we're growing a strong foundation to come back together as a collective to grow and to create this new paradigm, this 5D paradigm. Now, a lot of people think that this 5D way of living, like we are here in this 5D, we can access it. That is true, but it's not stable. This dimension is not, we can't just all be in it, because we are these emotional beings and we are so programmed. There's still a lot of evil, a lot of bad in the world. And I don't care what anyone says, there is bad shit out there. There truly, truly is. And as a psychic medium, I see dark entities, I see light entities, and everything can be transmuted and sent to source for healing, of course. But we cannot ascend in a world full of dark. For the whole planet to change, we've got to change. The earth is doing her job by really, like, the vibrations of the earth have just been off the Richter this year, and the solar flares that we've been having, there's been so many storms, solar storms, as well as physical storms here on Earth. It has been kinda crazy, kinda chaotic, and like I say, it's not in vain. Like, it's all happening for a reason. We are going to be, like, going to 2000. By the time we get to 2030, everything's gonna look completely different. So we're going through this is the crunch time. We're going through the quantum leap now, and no one said it was gonna be easy because we're going super, super fast. We must realign and grow in communion. We must grow together. The feminine is rising again. So she was really shunned down. This is why we have the witch wound stuff. She was really, really shunned down. And, that, for instance, making Mary Magdalene, like taking her name and dragging it through the mud, saying that she was a prostitute. And back then, prostitutes were extremely shunned. So that's the worst thing you could do to somebody. And now we're realizing that she wasn't. She was an equal to the masculine, which was Jesus. So what is happening is the feminine. Everyone says Christ is coming again, and all the churches, they always talk about that if you're a Christian, obviously. And honestly, the feminine has to rise first. We cannot rise alone. So I see this pain happening right now in the coaching industry, in the spiritual communities, in the religious communities as well. And it's all about separation. I see this in society as well. Like, she has that and I want that and da 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 da. All of that is creating separation. Even the COVID, the vaxxed and the not vaxxed, all of the separation is on purpose. It's a narrative because once we do come together and we start getting along and realizing that we're all perfectly divine and uniquely special and we can help each other, we start creating the foundation for the 5D. This is what we're doing going into the second half of 2023 is we've gone into this individual self and now we're coming into this community space. I can offer this and I can do this and I can serve this and the other person's like, I can do this and this and this and this. And you come together and you grow and you collaborate. So coming into communion is the feminine rising. Now, we have feminine and we have masculine within us. We are this beautiful mixture of sacred and divine, feminine and masculine, but we also have the wounds. So we are really in the energy. The first half has been about cleaning up the energy of the wounds, and that's going to continue all the way to 2024. Obviously, it's not a on off type of situation. It's more of a tapering off as we're growing and going into different elements of getting to this paradigm that we are currently growing. We are working with the crystalline grids, our chakras, our meridians are like a rainbow. There's a million rainbows around at the moment. And all of these rainbows are coming into the earth and activating the crystalline grids. Many of us are light workers working on these grids, whether we're gatekeepers or whether we're working on the grids when we're walking or in our sleep. Many of us are leaving in our dreams and we are working with different entities. I want to say we're like going to war in some different ways because is a war going on, an energetic war as well. So this is why the nurturing, coming back to self and finding our tribes is super important. You're going to find at the end of 2023, like the mid to the end in 2024, your relationships, if they haven't already changed, they're gonna change. So I've noticed personally that my relationships have literally done like a 180. I'm just like, who are my friends? What is going on? Who are my soul sisters? Who are my goddesses? And who is here to rise with me and to support me and for me to support them? It becomes very apparent who is in relationships for their own greed or to get something because they want something from that person, but they're not willing to give. So this is going to become very apparent how your relationships are. And you've got to come back to this nurturing part of you where you were recalibrating and go, what is my standard? What is my standard? What am I holding? What type of relationship am I calling in? And when your relationships start to crumble or you notice that that's not what you want, you actually have to be willing to let it go. You've got to be willing to step back and let the universe do its thing, because you are the universe, right? And the universe is you, and this is what you have created because this is what you asked for. To be in your sovereignty, to be in your divinity, means you have to be ready to let things go that are no longer in alignment for where you want to go. And this is what that second part of 2023 and the beginning of 2024 is all about. There's going to be a bit of chaos about 3/4 of the way into 2023. And that chaos is going to be about it's ego. It's all about ego. It's all about sitting in regret, shame, guilt, what ifs, and nearly like we're doing your life review. So it's a little bit different to the recalibration because it is a rebirthing. It is deeply, deeply, I'm shedding it all. And if I'm shedding it all, I need to see the things that I've done that I do not want to repeat. And many would say this is like an ascension. It's an ascension while we're still here in bodies. We're a lot faster than we used to be back in the day because we're evolving quicker because of this dimensional shift. And we're able to access so many more dimensions than we used to be able to when we were in survival mode here on Earth. So it's really, really important for you to, when these shadows come up, although you may have already done so much shadow work in this life and in the first part of this year, it's important for you to bring it up to feel the emotions. It only takes 90 seconds, apparently, for emotion to come in and out, and sit with that energy truly and honestly. And one of the tricks here that I do is Ho'oponopono, the Hawaiian prayer. It is literally like light codes, and what happens is we are able to forgive the situation, the person, ourselves, and all parts of that process. So if you're feeling guilt or shame, if you are remembering something, or maybe a past trauma is coming up or something that you did, you can literally put your hands on your heart and say, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And you can say that over and over and over again. I recommend doing it for like the 90 seconds while you're feeling those emotions, and then literally going and earthing. Earthing is extremely important at this time because we are working with these grids. Where the rainbows are working with it, so all the elements are coming into play in communion with us. So it's really important to have bare feet, to walk on the beach, to stand on the grass, to hug the humans around you. Human beings are needing love at the moment. They are needing eye contact. They are needing smiles. They are needing words of encouragement. And the truth is, we know who our people are, and our people are coming to us because we are starting to be more in communion and everybody is connected. But just because we're all connected doesn't mean we have to associate with everybody. It's like a beehive, right? So it's like a beehive. So 2024 is the time where you should be already pretty established with who you feel you to be, especially connected to this energetic, emotional essence of who you be. That is all you need to be focusing on in 2023. What do I want? Where am I going? What do I desire? Super, super simple. 2024 is about applying that, because awareness is amazing and awareness is extremely powerful. It's a thing that I'm continuously preaching about, but application is super important for you to get to your goals and your dreams. Now, the 5D is quick. Your manifestation turns up. I've got clients that want more money. As soon as they sign up with me, boom, they get paychecks. Boom, they get cars. Boom, they get presents. It's really ridiculous. I'll share that for another time. But you still have this element of I'm a human body and I've got to do the things with the resources that I have to make the change, to serve the people, to bring in the money. We still have a monetary system right now, guys, which means, and it's changing. It's changing. Like we're doing a lot more. Hey, can I have some eggs? Sure. Would you like some meat? Hey, I've got some bread. Here, have some oranges. I'm seeing this in my own community. I'm like, hey, can I have some oranges? Yeah. I'll look after your kids. Like we're doing like these swapsies. We're opening our hearts. We're being a lot more generous because we're going into these recessions, which is making us go, Wonder why this is happening. How can we do this? So we're still in a 3D world, but we're going to start manifesting more as a 5D being. The point is, we really have to come into 2024 with a deep understanding that we've got this 4D, this fourth dimension, overarching bridge between these worlds. And this is why a lot of those shadows will be coming up, and you get to clear them very quickly. You can clear them as a 5D being because you're fast and it's emotionally based and there's no judgment in the 5D, but your 3D human is going to feel it. Do not bypass your shadow. Do not sit in it for too long. Get a practitioner, get a facilitator, get somebody like a friend that is non judgmental or a partner that you can purge that out to so then you can let it go. You can do a quantum clearing on that, right? These are really important tips, and there's plenty of free resources for you if you can't afford a coach or whatever. All right. So 2024, there's going to be a more emphasis on the children. Okay. So I wouldn't be surprised if some more disclosures come out about our children, about the education system. People are starting to really click onto how things are extremely 3D, like pretty much like 2D. And we have to shift our ways of thinking. I'm seeing a big difference in food. So I've noticed with my own family, and this is something I really want to adopt and take on more so it becomes my normal in 2024, where we're eating healthier. We are not eating the plastic. We are not eating the GM or the all of that type of stuff. We're not having all the additives because the additives are making our children crazy, including ourselves. If you wouldn't eat it, don't give it to your kid. I'm not going to say any of the foods that I'm thinking about. Hopefully, you can read my mind. But if it's full of artificial sweeteners, if it's full of artificial colors, if it's full of sugar, there and you wouldn't eat it, but you're giving it to your kids. Like I think about the kids' parties that I've made for my children and the ones I've been to, and like, what the fuck? What did we give our children? Why would we do that? I wouldn't eat that. I would feel sick after all those lollies, right? We need to be cleaner as a society. And there's not a lot of cleanliness right now, but we're going back to this organic way of living where we are like, let's get some chickens. Who's got the chickens? Who's got the oranges? Like I said before, let's do an exchange. We're having to come into communion. And this is why we're having a lot of struggles in other areas of our life. We need abundance in all ways. And in 2024, that's going to become apparent. The compassion is going to expand because people have been realigning and recalibrating to their soul's purpose, and then they are going to execute the know-how by stepping forward onto the stage and letting the light shine. We, up until now, have been trying to shine the light on everybody else because we've been afraid of the light. 2024 is for you to shine the light on yourself and know that by doing that, you're going to inspire others to shine the light on themselves. And how do the children come into this? Well, for so long in society, we have really kept our children quiet, and you get what you're given. Money doesn't grow on trees, all the things that we were told. I am generalizing here, of course. And now it's time to look at our children and to realize that they have the key. They have the sacred pollen. They have got the sacred wisdom. They have got the fairy dust. These children have been used and ignored for too long. And people that are in high in society, they understand the power of children. We are going to start understanding this. We are going to start hearing the disclosures about what is actually happening to the children. I'm not going to go into that in depth. And of course, I cannot say too much on these platforms, but we're going to start noticing that our kids are getting used. And also, it's a time to put a stop to it and realize the gifts of our children are to awaken us within. They have got the key to our success. And all we have to do is spend some time with a child. It doesn't matter if you're not a parent either. Like, I'm talking about children in general. They are not only our future, but they have the keys to the multidimensional time traveling. They have got the curiosity and the consciousness to break us out of this paradigm, this matrix, which is very dense and heavy. They are the ones that are going to change the monetary system. They are the ones that are going to break all of the BS that is locking us into separation and also trying to get people being sheep. You can see there's a bit of polarity there, a bit of a duality. It's a paradox. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a paradox. People want us to be sheep, but at the same time, they want us to be separate sheep. It doesn't work, right? So, yeah, it is a time that for you to build your business. It is the time for you to do your apologies, to make amends, to forgive yourself, to forgive others, to shine your light so others will shine theirs, to step onto the stage, onto the platform, and to open your heart with compassion and know that it's not just about right now in this world with the humans, right? Presence is amazing. That's not what I'm saying. The presence is important, but it's not just about this reality with these humans, with this car and this house and whatever. This is what we've been trained to believe. We are multidimensional beings, and spirit and entities like light beings, UFOs, like entities that come on UFOs, they are here and ready to connect with us, and we are getting close. I don't think that's going to happen in 2024. I think there's a lot of telepathic conversations going on with, I want to say aliens, extraterrestrials, right? That is a lot of that is happening, but nothing physical is going to happen yet into 2024 because we're still too dense and the world is still unsafe for these aliens. And if you have got any issue with me saying that, I apologize. But they're alien to us, right? These extraterrestrials, and they will come. And many of them are very high vibrational and they've been here many times. They've worked with us so many times. They've worked with us in the ancient times in Egypt and many other times. And they're hybrids. And many of us have got the soul streams coming through now. And we're speaking their tongue. We're speaking their words now. But they can't come here physically yet because they're going to get shot down. There's a whole lot of stuff that's going to happen when they do try to come down. The government is just going to go haywire, and they've been prepping for that for a long time, just like the children disclosures. And we have to be energetically and mentally prepared to see. Because a lot of what comes through, you cannot see with your naked eye. You must see with your third eye. You must turn on the thymus as well. I see a lot more people turning on the thymus, turning on the third eye, doing the Shark D awakening. So having a Shark D awakening, having this Kundalini happen, having sacred sexuality, coming into pleasure practices. I'm seeing a lot more of this feminine rising within the females and the males, okay, as we come together in this matrimony, as we come together as one. So we can actually share the wisdom with the world and take our power back. So 2024 is going to be an extremely powerful year with a lot of disclosures and a lot of breakdown of the systems, but they're not going to be so much they will be in plain sight, but it's not going to be like intense, like, oh, the government's just stopped and no one's going to school anymore. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be a lot more subtle, but the cracks are going to start appearing a lot more and people are going to start clicking on what is actually going on here. Is this in our best interest? I don't know if I believe that anymore. I'm starting to feel funny when I sleep, or I'm having these crazy dreams, or I woke up and I was shaking, having that Shark D awakening, or I'm feeling more turned on. I feel like I need to go down this path. So these are the signs of awakening. So there's going to be a mass awakening in 2024. A mass, I want to say realization. Okay. So the groundwork has been happening now. And I've always said something's going to happen in 2024. It's going to be big. It's probably going to be a drop in from the government, something where we go, oh, there's another massive thing that just happened. I don't want to say anything because I don't want to help create that. But when it happens, we're going to be a lot more onto it because we've nurtured ourselves, we've realigned, we have recalibrated ourselves. We know what we know, so we're not so easily influenced. It's like, fool me 3 times and I'm the fool type of thing, right? And we need to look at what our life looks like and thrive after that. We need to strive after that. We need to actually realize that we have some control of what we are creating. So 2024 is going to be a very, very powerful year. And this is the time in 2023 to have those foundations to be able to hold it. Because when you can step into a 5D energy, you can manifest stuff quickly and quickly and quickly and quickly. And I see this happening in my program, Magnificent Mediumship Certification, which is my signature program, as people come in that space of 12 weeks, they start manifesting and they start believing, and they can leave and they can continue to do this incredible, like, this is where I'm going. Or they can come back into themselves and leave what they learned at the door, and it goes dormant again. They can pick it up at any time, but it's so easy to fall back into the collective energy of what is happening. But coming into 2024, there's going to be more people starting things, speaking up, shining, finding their own sense of dress. What face do you want to wear? Who do you want to be? What is your heart calling you to be? And following the energy of emotion rather than tangible. That is what's going to happen in 2024. So keep an eye on the kids. Keep an eye on what is happening with the UFO sightings and experiences people are having. There's a whole lot of stuff just being absolutely hidden, but they're only going to be able to hide it for so long. And I would say 2026, we're going to start, people are going to really start having some breakthroughs. But ultimately, it all leans on how much of us are willing to speak our truth and to show up. How many of us are willing to go, no, or yes, or here I go, let me be seen and shine. Too many of us are in the shadows hiding and not speaking up. And that's going to depend on us and for how strong we can make this collective for the truth to actually start coming out. There's too many followers and there's not enough leaders, and there's enough space for all of us to be guides and leaders. So what do you want to create for 2024? And are you doing the groundwork now to recalibrate and realign?